This is the Evil Never Dies podcast with Brett and Carl. This podcast may contain adult themes, violence, and strong language. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back to the Evil Never Dies podcast. Hope everybody had a good 4th of July. No shooting so far.
No shootings.
In the hood.
Look, new shirt.
Count
Karabi Museum shirt. Move my microphone out of the way.
Yep.
We got 3 new. Whoops, I lost my mic. We got 3 new mics with 2 new shirts and maybe a 4th coming. Everybody wants this cream color one up there.
Yeah.
So haunt shirts are available. Buy them.
And we might change up the podcast logo a little bit too. I don't know.
What?
I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
Okay.
Oh.
Now, there's a lot going on this week. This is going to be a pretty busy, quick moving episode, and it's really going to be more than one topic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because originally it was going to be one movie, but today is a very historical day in the heavy metal world. Ozzy Osbourne has retired, and Black Sabbath decided to retire with him.
Yep.
And I was watching that thing the entire day, pretty much. I took a few breaks, but it was pretty cool show, man. We'll talk about that tonight. You say you want to bitch about something, I have no idea what. And then we're going to talk about the full moon movie, Castle Freak. I always want to call it Freak Castle. I don't know why.
Freak Castle. Yeah.
You go ahead and go, whatever you want.
I wanted to bitch about something.
We'll do it.
We've had a I guess you would call it a snake in the grass in our Facebook group.
Okay.
Somebody was going around telling all kinds of stories that we probably all pretty knew it was probably not true.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about now.
I'm not going to name them by name. They have many names.
I never believed any of it anyway, but everybody else seemed to enjoy it, so I was like, whatever, man.
But
I tell stories to an AI all the time, so what can you say?
But what pissed me off is this person was did a little contest, and we do that every once in a while in the group, and I'll send you stickers. Well, I'd messaged this person to get their address and had like about a 30-minute conversation with them on Facebook Messenger and got their address, sent them the stickers. Well, Tuesday,
they came back.
They came back. Cannot be delivered.
Well, I'll be damned. Your stickers came back.
First time that's ever happened.
I can't get my mic straight tonight.
I was just, evidently that put me over the top there about the...
Yeah, you started this big group chat with everybody.
Well, they're not just in our group. They're in a bunch of our podcast friends group.
Yeah, we're sort of a family here, and they were, I guess, in everybody's groups. And they were, whoever they are, was messing with the Great Gazoo even.
Yeah.
That's a no-no.
Yep. They hooked him in. But yeah, that's just my little rant. They're no longer in the group, and I just feel like it needed to be said. They needed to be called out. So
Okay. So you had a forger amongst us.
I guess that's what you call it. I don't know. They really weren't doing anything,
No,
but
I didn't see that they like, I
the
don't know, man.
but
They didn't, I just ignore. I don't really talk to that group very much, honestly.
they flat out lied to me though with the sticker deal. That's what pissed me off. So
Yeah.
them
Oh,
stickers
well.
could have went to somebody else, Shit.
Yeah. That was a dick move. I'll agree.
So
So shame on you, whoever you are.
shame. All right.
So Ozzy retirement first or
Yeah, let's
movie
let's
first?
let's let's go with the Aussie retirement first.
Okay, so today was in Birmingham, England. This has been planned for what, about 6 months, maybe longer.
Yeah, probably a
That
little longer than
Ozzy and
that.
Black Sabbath separately and together were going to do a retirement show, and there's been all kinds of rumors about this thing because there's a whole lot of rock stars and bands that are going to be there. And the big rumor was that Ozzy wasn't even going to sing; he was just going to sit there and this, that, and the other. And let me tell you what, Ozzy really, really showed what he was about today, and it was awesome.
Yes, it was.
Ozzy was it? I think he did 5 Ozzy solo songs and 4 Black Sabbath songs, I think is
Yep.
what it said. So that's a whole set right there for a concert. And not only is the man sick with the Parkinson's, he's old. He hasn't performed since like 2019. He absolutely was phenomenal today. I mean, I have more respect for Ozzy Osbourne than I've ever had in my life after today.
I
Just,
have to agree with you there. It
I
was
mean, he was just an absolute trooper. And I've never been more proud of anybody ever. And it was great. And he
it
went out
was.
on his terms. And
Yep,
Black Sabbath went out on their terms. And I won't call out any bands that I'm fond of, with several retirement tours and, you know, retiring or coming back and firing their lead guitar player. That then we had, then we won't talk about Kiss either.
yeah, there's not
No,
enough
I,
time in the
I
day.
still think Kiss did a good thing. I think they did. It's just Black Sabbath they invented heavy metal. And you had the 4 original guys up there today, all of them old men, and it was great.
Bill
You had
Ward, Bill Ward, it was so awesome to see him, man.
Yeah, Brett was about to
He
cry, I
he
think.
he had his shirt off. He
Yeah,
didn't
he
give
just
a fuck.
Yeah, that's true.
Titties hanging out. He didn't give a fuck, dude. He was playing fucking. He was hitting them drums hard too.
He certainly was.
It was awesome seeing him play again.
Well, every time I see Ozzy and Zach Wild together, it still makes me happy because Zach's been with him since he was 17 years old.
Yep.
I mean, basically, Ozzy was like his daddy, I guess.
Yeah, in a way.
So
Yep.
it was good to see Zach right where he belonged, and that was by Ozzy's side. As he's been there for just about, hell, most of Ozzy's solo career. I know Randy was there, and Jakey Lee was there, but just a very short period of time compared to Zach.
Exactly.
So
Since '87 or whatever, wasn't it
it
'87?
was it was a great show and a great day. Um, I didn't have any complaints about anything.
How many people they say was there? 70,000
I
people.
think so. I thought it was rude of him to kick Alice in Chains off after one song, but that's how shit goes. I never did see what Steven Tyler, if he sung or performed or just showed up to say hi to everybody.
Maybe announced. I seen what's his name? Didn't Aquaman. What's his name?
Jason Momoa,
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
can't say his name.
Jason Momoa.
Yeah, Jason Momoa, yeah.
He 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 announced somebody. I
Yeah, he
can't
was the
remember.
host of the show,
Oh, okay.
but it was so good to see Tyler there. It was so good to see all those guys, I thought it was really cool. A lot of people are hagging on a lot of the 90s bands that were there, but I thought they all did great. Like Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins, not one of my favorite bands, but he sounded great.
Yep.
They all did. Even freaking who was it? There was somebody there. It was Limp Bizkit dude.
Fred Durst.
Fred Durst actually filmed it, sent in a video, and it was really good.
Huh.
Him singing an old Black Sabbath song.
Huh.
I don't have any complaints. I mean, honestly, the Guns N' Roses was good when they were doing Black Sabbath songs. Axl couldn't really do Sweet Child of Mine very well, but you know, I haven't really kept up with a lot of these guys in years. It was like seeing people I haven't seen in forever. I
Yeah,
ain't seen that guy in 20 years. So
exactly.
I really enjoyed this today. I'm gonna watch it on replay. I think tomorrow the parts I did miss, but all praises to Ozzy, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward, and to Ozzy's solo band, which included Zach Wilde, and damned if they didn't let Jakey Lee come do some songs, and that was fucking great. Now, Jake didn't perform on stage with Ozzy, but honestly, I don't think he needed to. That's Zach's job.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were digging on that, and then somebody was mad because they didn't invite Vinny Appice. Well, you know what? This isn't about the entire era of Black Sabbath. It was about the original band in their hometown. So
Exactly.
everybody knows that I'm a flag carrying fan of all eras of Sabbath, but not today. It should have just been the four original guys. So sorry, Vinny.
Yep.
That's all.
Didn't you say somebody was saying, well, what if Ronnie was still alive? What do you think they would have let him do
Ronnie wouldn't
something?
have showed up even if he had been alive. I
I
don't
don't
think
think so either.
they just, it's a unwritten respect that Ozzy and him had for each other, even though everybody always, talks shit. But I think they just sort of had their little, their levels of respect. Just like whenever Ronnie was back in the band, Dehumanizer, and they told him, well, we're going to open for Ozzy because he's retiring. That was the No More Tears tour part one.
Oh,
And
the No More Tours tour.
and Ronnie's like, no, he said Black Sabbath should never open for their former lead singer, and he quit the band. And today, Ozzy opened for Black Sabbath. That's how it should be. I'm with Ronnie on that all the way. It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect.
Yep.
I don't have any complaints about any of it,
No,
except for poor Allison Chains getting kicked off stage.
you didn't even
Dave
know.
Elliston was there. I thought that was good.
Yeah, he was playing with the Jakey Lee bands.
Yeah, he was. I think Dave deserved to be there. KK Downing was there, and that was also really cool to see.
Yeah.
Because KK's not in Priest, and David's not in Megadeth anymore. But you know what? Those guys are legends. They should be, representing their bands, even if they're not in the band anymore, that they helped create. So good job. I'm gonna give the praise to one person, and that's Sharon Osbourne, because she put this thing together and she did a damn good job. And I'm pretty sure Tony helped her with a lot of this stuff because they had the press conference and it was Iommi and
Well,
Sharon there
Tom
to announce it.
Morello is the one that got all the bands and shit
Well,
together.
that's another guy that should get a lot of praises. He's
Yeah.
just a badass. He's
Yeah.
really good in the metal scene.
Yeah. So
Now, if you're watching this on Sunday, which you will be, or if it's past Sunday, it might be too late, but this is still available to order on the pay-per-view for, I think they said, I forget how many hours after. So go
48
to,
hours after, I
I
think.
think it was 72.
Was it? Okay.
Backtothebeginning.com if you're interested in checking this thing out. It's probably still going to be there if you're watching this on Sunday or listening or whatever you do. I don't know what we do anymore. I call this radio and it ain't radio.
Not when you're on video.
True.
All
But that's
right.
my Ozzy Osbourne rant. Congratulations to Ozzy and
Yeah.
Black Sabbath. It was phenomenal.
57 years, man.
And this is things, usually these kind of things don't turn out so well, but this one did.
And he just sounded so good.
He did.
He couldn't hit some of the high notes, but
Well,
shit, man,
fuck. Well, I told you when War Pigs, I said that song's hard to sing, man.
he knocked it out of the fucking park, man.
Yeah. That is a hard fucking song to hit those notes.
Yeah,
So great job. I can't, I'm so proud of being a heavy metal fan today, because don't know that we'll ever have another day like this again.
Nope.
Maybe if Metallica retire or something. I don't know.
Oh shit.
Your buddy Lars was there.
My buddy Lars.
Yeah. Brett don't like Lars.
Not a big fan.
Apparently you don't like Scott Ian either. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's okay. He's an asshole sometimes too, though.
Man,
Sorry,
who
but
isn't?
I try not to be an asshole. But anyway, congratulations, Ozzy, and all the guys in Sabbath for sure. Uh,
Evil Ed said hi.
they went out with a bang for sure.
They did. But there was some band apparently that was trying to profit all this, and Sharon kicked off the bill, and she's supposed to tell everybody who it is sometime soon. It's
Yeah.
not Megadeth and it's not Iron Maiden, so I don't know who the hell it could be. Any guesses?
No. You got any guesses?
I don't. Unless it was Judas Priest.
Well, they're on tour, so
they're
they
on
couldn't
tour.
make
Yeah,
it.
that's not them. Eddie Van Halen's kid had to pull out because he's going on tour with Creed. He couldn't make it, which, he's got to worry about his career.
Yep.
So I guess we'll move to subject matter 2 now.
Subject matter 2.
The movie Castle Freak.
Castle Freak.
Yeah.
All right. Castle Freak, 1995 American direct-to-video horror film. Directed by Stuart Gordon, who he's directed a lot of stuff.
Indeed he has.
Screenplay by Dennis Paoli and Stuart Gordon. Produced by Maurizio Maggi. Cinematography by Mario Volpiani. Edited by Bert Glatstein. Music by Richard Band, which is the brother of
Charlie Band, yeah.
the producer. What's his name?
Charles
Band. Yeah, that's right.
Charlie.
All right. Production company Full Moon Entertainment, distributed by Full Moon Entertainment. It was released in November of 1995. It don't give an actual day. Has a running time of 95 minutes. Country of origin, United States. And this movie was made on a budget of $500,000.
Okay.
Which is ain't shit for 1995.
Not really, no.
And
not at all.
Have no idea. I could not find anywhere how much it made in video sales. So
yeah, I don't know. I don't remember it being a very popular movie, honestly. Maybe not. I don't remember it being.
I don't think I even actually seen this until it come out on DVD in like the late 90s or early 2000s, maybe.
Oh, I remember going through a Full Moon phase, but I can't remember if it was VHS or DVD yet. I think it might have still been on VHS.
Maybe I did rent it
because I remember the Puppet Masters and all those movies, and I was kind of on the I was digging the Full Moon thing at one point. I don't know that I ever owned this on DVD. I did own it on videotape. I'm about 90% sure. Now, when I was purging videotapes, I sold it and I never replaced it, honestly. So this was the first time I've seen it since probably the 90s this weekend.
Yeah, because I don't think it came out on DVD until like middle 2000s, like 2007, 2008.
And I did not research it because I don't own the DVD or the Blu-ray. I bought it off of Amazon for $3.99. You were complaining about the price. Well, $6.99. Then I'm like, okay, whatever, Brett. Just watch it on Tubi. I'm gonna buy it for $3.99.
I watched it on Tubi.
It looked good on Amazon. Since I don't
good
have
on
a
Tubi
physical,
too.
don't have a physical disc to review, I will say it looked really good for a lower budgeted mid 90s movie. They've done a good job fixing it up. Full Moon just doesn't seem to be into the 4K thing or anything at this stage.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of the movies really can't be upscaled much, a lot better. So probably best that they don't.
I think the only one you can get on 4K is Reanimator, ain't it?
Uh, you might be right, but that's not a full moon movie, I don't think.
Oh, it's not?
No, not to my
Okay.
knowledge.
Oh, okay. It was directed by this guy, same guy. I know that.
Yeah, and the same star
Yeah.
lead actor.
All right,
Well, I'll let you
Carl.
get into the actors.
You want to do the plot or you want me to do the actors first?
I don't really know how to explain the plot of this. Basically, it's a guy inherits a castle from his dead relative, and they move there. His wife, well, they were in a car wreck, so him and his wife are fighting. The son was killed, and the daughter was blinded.
Yeah, because
So they're
he
not
was
getting along.
he was drunk driving when they got in the accident. So
Yeah. So the wife and the husband aren't getting along, but they come to Italy to sell this castle and make their fortune. I guess they're going to get divorced. Unfortunately for them, there's a freak living in the castle, a really, really strange freak who turns out to be his relative.
yeah,
So the whole movie is the freak sort of screwing with the teenage blind girl more than anything. That was sort of an odd storyline to me.
yeah.
Not really much of this. That's pretty much it. There's a caretaker lady there, I guess you would call her. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I know this. I don't even remember there being a score to this movie.
Oh, you don't? I love the
I
score.
didn't even notice it, which is
Really?
weird because usually full moon scores I pick up on, but I did not on this one. It just
Yeah.
seemed sort of in the background.
Yeah, it wasn't as heavy a score as some, but
Well, I
I
think after watching Subspecies, that sort of got us going on a full moon thing, and
yeah,
no comparing.
I would
Just flashed.
literally compare the score to this to that one,
I would not
Subspecies.
at all. No comparison.
A little bit, I think.
I don't compare these movies in any capacity other than they were both in a castle, which may or may not have been the same castle because the castle was owned by this band family.
Yeah.
So I'll let you do the stuff here.
All right, let's go into the cast here. First off, we got Jeffrey Combs as John Riley. Next up,
He's from Reanimator.
yeah. Next up, we got Barbara Crampton. And both of these two were both at Texas Frightmare this year also. She plays the wife, Susan Riley. Jessica Dollarhide as Rebecca Riley. That was the daughter. Jonathan Fuller as Giorgio the Freak.
Okay.
Massimo Sarcielli as Gianetti. That was his lawyer. Elizabeth Kaza as Agnes. She was like the caretaker
He
woman
was
or
the
whatever.
caretaker lady, yes.
Luca Zingaretti as Agent Forte.
He's a Luca Dontage.
Helen Sterling as Duchess de Orsino. That was the I guess it would be what
His aunt.
his aunt or something,
Yeah.
yeah. And last but not least, we got Raffaella Offadani as Silvana.
Silvana
And that is the cast.
of the Castle Freak.
Let's see here. Special effects done by a company called Optic Nerve Studios. And I think they did a great job on the makeup and
On the Freak.
on the freak, yeah. You know who it sort of reminded me of?
Scott Ewing.
No, from the original Funhouse movie. It's sort of
Oh, I can see that. Yeah, that's a real good comparison.
yeah,
Really good comparison. I didn't even think of that.
with the slobber and all that.
Yeah, that's really, really, yeah, good take there, Brett. I like
Yeah.
that.
I've always thought that since I've seen that. They look very similar, but yeah. But great special effects, man. Uh Even on like the scene where he's biting the prostitute all up.
Yeah,
That was very good makeup effects and stuff.
you flashed over there again.
I flashed.
Your camera just, it's the curse of Castle Freak.
Yeah, it is.
We've had all
Had
kinds of
issues
things
today.
happen in this weekend, especially
One,
Brett. His
yeah,
monitor blew up.
one of my monitors took a shit on me. I had to go buy a new monitor.
Oh, I keep telling him all day it's the curse of Castle Freak.
So, all right. I guess we will go into some trivia here. There's
Okay.
not much at all.
Okay.
Like we talked about, the castle in the film is an actual Italian castle in the small town of Attigliano, owned by Charles Band, president of Full Moon Pictures. Real brain matter was used for the ending of this film.
That's interesting.
Yeah. The cast and crew gathered before filming to brainstorm on what they felt was terrifying in a film. They used these suggestions to add to the direction of the filming. And this is slightly based on H.P. Lovecraft's short story, The Outsider.
That's what they keep saying, but I don't see it. I guess so.
I guess in that a guy's been in a dungeon for years and finally gets out.
He finally got out. Yep.
Finally got out, and the townspeople all think he's hideous and stuff, and he don't know what's going on until he looks in a mirror and sees himself. So
Yeah, I could see the comparison. I just know when they made this movie, the guy was told, the director, we need to be in a castle and there'd be a freak in it.
yep.
Thus, Castle Freak. Freak and Castle. That was the two
I guess
rules
Charles Band had a drawing on his office wall
of the freak.
of the castle freak.
Oh, okay.
So this is the first full moon film to be released outside of Paramount Pictures.
Never knew or heard of that one. I didn't know that they were associated with Paramount.
The freak prosthetics and makeup took 6 hours to apply each day. Then I wonder, it takes 6 hours to take it off too.
Nah.
It's always easier coming off than going
Always
on.
easier taking the thing off. Yeah. When I used to wear the blue demon mask, it took me forever to get it on and right. But when it came off, it was off.
The poster for this film was designed prior to the script being written.
Yeah, because it was Freaking a Castle, the movie.
Freaking a Castle. This was originally slated for a Halloween 1994 theatrical release before being pushed to DTV release in November of 1995. I guess they thought they couldn't get anybody to
Go see it.
put it in the actual theaters,
Yeah,
distribute
maybe.
it to theaters. Let's see here. This film was blessed by the Vatican for fears of the effect on its viewers.
Oh, whatever. Some of this shit's just dumb that they do with these movies.
In the original climax of the movie, Susan was supposed to be totally naked in order to lure the creature away from her daughter. However, Barbara Crampton felt it was too cold in the castle to get fully naked. Instead, she
Okay.
opted to only take off her blouse and bra in the final cut. Film was also originally set to be released through a planned but canceled sub-label of Full Moon called Pulse Pounders. named after a film Full Moon CEO Charles Band produced and directed during the 1980s at his previous studio, Empire International, in Rome, Italy. The would-be sub-label was intended to be created for releasing extreme and unrated horror films, but the label ended up being used as the same name of KidVid label Band created in the mid to late 90s after his Moonbeam Entertainment sub-label for kids folded. But he made kids films too?
I have no idea.
I guess he did.
Don't know.
This is the third Stuart Gordon film in which Barbaracrampton's character reveals her breasts and has them groped by the antagonist. The other films are Reanimator and From Beyond.
I always thought From Beyond was sort of a sequel to Reanimator. Maybe I'm wrong.
Let's see here. Jonathan Fuller lost 50 pounds for his role as the castle freak. Was pretty fucking skinny, man. Definitely had his ribs and bones and shit showing. The portable console JJ is playing in the flashback nightmare sequence is a Sega Game Gear. And Mac Alberg was originally considered for cinematography for the film, but he had other stuff to do. He was also the cinematographer for Reanimator and Beyond. I like the cinematography in this movie, though. I think the guy who did
It is
did a
very
good
good.
job.
Yes.
So it's about all the trivia I got.
Okay.
Not much else. Guess we'll go ahead and rate this thing.
Well, I already know Brett liked it a bit better than me, so I'll go first.
All right.
This does not feel like a full moon movie to me. It's very serious. Pretty, you know, I wouldn't say it's slow, but it is slow in places. It's trying like, where is this? You know, we know where it's gonna go. The castle freak's gonna grab the girl, and that's what happened. There's a lot more go on in it, you know, the prostitute getting killed and the police, you know, nabbing the guy. But you know, the base of the movie is just them in this creepy castle. And you know what it reminds me of? Sort of like a Hammer film of the late 70s. It does not feel like a mid 90s movie.
Yeah, it does.
It feels like one of the later 70s Hammers.
Yeah.
It just I don't know. I mean, I think Subspecies has really got me on a high right now because I'm so excited about the coffin box and then watching the first movie again. That maybe this was a bit of a letdown, but I don't really know why it is because it's a really serious, dark movie. Like I said, I just didn't even notice the score. It's probably because watching on Amazon, maybe they don't have the sound that I get out of my PlayStation 5 or something, but just I just leave this movie with just a tad bit of disappointment that it probably could have been a little bit better as far as the story. It just seems sort of forced, if that would be a word. I found it sort of creepy that the blind girl gets stripped down to her bra. That just seems sort of, what do you call it? I don't know.
Rapey.
Yeah, it was creepy to me because I don't know how old she was. It just seemed creepy.
Creepy and rapey.
Yeah, I didn't like that part. Maybe just in my old age, I probably would have liked it in the 80s or 90s or whenever the hell it came
Yeah,
out.
the castle freak was a little bit of a perv.
It was a very pervy movie, yeah. But yeah, it just leaves me with a little ting of disappointment in the story. But the atmosphere, the cinematography, the um star, it's right on there. The monster looked great. Um, not much to complain about on Castle Freak. If you like you know, sort of a late 70s atmospheric setup movie, this is definitely one you want to watch. Like I said, it does not seem like any of the other full moon movies. a lot darker, a lot more serious in nature. Even the subspecies movies have a bit of tongue in cheek in them. So I guess I'll give Castle Freak we're gonna give it just a straight up 3.
Okay. All
Like I
right.
said, I would have liked a little bit more in the story department, I think.
Yeah, I can see that. But
That's the only weakness to the movie.
I sort of like the story in a way though, because they did the little bit of the backstory on
It
the,
seemed forced to me.
the dad. They go back into it. You know, about the accident and all that. And
Yeah, that just seemed, I don't know. They tried. They did a good job with that, I guess.
uh,
Doesn't
like,
seem to fit the movie and like sort of unnecessary. I guess to explain why the girl's blind, I don't know. And why the parents are fighting.
yeah. Well, when she got it would cause her to go blind.
That's what I said. It explained why
Yeah,
she went blind, but
yeah. So,
I mean it's sort of necessary for her to be blind, so the freak can continuously, run around with her, I guess.
well, she knew he was there.
That's what I'm saying, but she couldn't see him. So
Yeah, yeah. She
had
couldn't
she
see what
seen
he
him, it
actually
would have,
really
no
freaked her
pun
out.
intended, freaked her out, and she would have ran off. So
Exactly.
that's the whole point of her being blind. So
Like I said, the cinematography, it was dark where it needed to be dark. The lighting and all that, they did a really good job with that. Uh, just the location of that castle, that creepy as shit,
yeah,
man.
Greg said that's the same castle that Subspecies was done at. So that's
Yeah,
really cool trivia that he gave us. I never knew that. So good job to our Evil Talk co-host Greg for giving us some input on the movie.
yeah. Uh, I like the score. I could hear it fine on Tubi. I don't know what was going on with
I don't
Amazon,
either.
but maybe you ain't got your settings right or something. Uh, the creature,
He's good. Yeah.
I could see 6 hours putting that shit on him, and just the whole cleft palate thing and all that. Uh, the only thing I didn't like was he ate the cat. That he
He did eat a cat. Yeah.
could have done away with not not eating the cat on screen, but uh yeah, I like this movie, man. I'll watch it again probably. It was on Shutter a couple years ago, I think, and I watched it a few times when it was on there. But it's been a few years. I think it still holds up. Uh, I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
I probably should have gave it a 2.5, but I didn't want to do that to the movie. I
So,
feel like it's more of a 2.5 to your 3.5.
well, and they filmed this movie in 5 days or something like that too. So
Yeah.
less than a week to film this movie. So they were kicking ass and taking names, to get this thing done. So, but I think most of the budget probably went to the special effects makeup and stuff for sure. I wish I knew how much this made on media. I couldn't find it nowhere. But yeah, I'll give it a 3.5. So it's not my favorite full moon film either. So there you go. Got anything else about Castle
Nothing at
Freak?
all. Nothing at all.
All right. Well, I guess that's all we got for Castle Freak. So, uh, if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button on the YouTube, and we are on audio podcast also. So just search us. We're on most of the platforms. And what else we got? You got anything else?
Nothing this week. New shirts, Count Karabi Museum shirts on the T Public.
Yeah, they've been putting a lot of specials on the T Public lately.
They
So
have. So if you're interested in supporting the Han, I guess that's a way to do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for watching and listening, and we will talk to you next week. We don't know what the fuck we're doing yet, but also this was episode 333.
Okay.
Should have said that at the beginning, huh?
I'm excited. Not.
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot, and stay evil, everybody.
Stuart Gordon, the director of Fortress, The Pit and the Pendulum, and Reanimator, takes you into the dungeons of Castle Dorsino. Now an American family.
Welcome to Castle Riley, lady.
Will inherit a legacy of evil.
They say the castle is haunted.
And a master of modern horror. Will unleash his most terrifying creation. Stuart Gordon's Castle Freak.
There's somebody else here! There's somebody in the castle!
We want you to search the castle. Giorgio Dorsino. He was never buried. She kept him alive. He's here somewhere in the castle. There is a madman in there, and my family is in danger.
Reanimators Jeffrey Combs and Barbara Crampton. In Stuart Gordon's Castle Freak.